A big mid-season trade can change everything for an NBA team, which is something that the Milwaukee Bucks know firsthand. No example better represents this notion than Milwaukee's trade for PJ Tucker last March, who obviously became a key cog in the team's title run. After starter Dante Dizvicaino went down in the first round, Tucker got a promotion to the starting unit and played a pivotal role for the final 3 rounds of the playoffs. Some will criticize his efforts offensively, and rightfully so, but they brought him in to play defense, and he surely did as he hounded the opposing team's best players on a nightly basis. In the end, it was worth it as they won the title, something they would not have done without Tucker's contributions. Considering they just had a busy offseason and a new season is about to begin, the Bucks likely are not thinking about trades at this moment. However, as the season progresses, there needs to be more apparent, and they could look to make another midseason trade to bolster their chances of repeating as world champions. With that being said, here are 5 way too early targets for the front office to consider keeping a closer eye on in the coming months so that Milwaukee can win back-to-back championships. At number 5, we have Gorgui Dieng could be a trade target for the Milwaukee Bucks this year. Although the front office patched up several holes on the roster during the offseason, one area that could cause some concern for the Bucks is the center position. Their depth is limited behind Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis, and they could look to make a trade for another big man at some point next season to provide some insurance at the position. In that case, Gorgui Dieng could have been a viable option for many reasons. Dieng has always been a solid big man from a production standpoint, having averaged 7.8 points and 6 rebounds per game for his career. One interesting aspect of Dieng's game is his ability to space the floor, having shot 35.7% from 3-point range since being drafted in 2013. It comes as a low volume sample size as the big man has never relied on that aspect of his game, but he's capable of shooting, which he proved this past season by hitting 42.9% of those shots. That shooting would make him an easy plug-in for the Bucks, giving them another quality stretch 5 and someone who can hold up defensive. Financially, a Dieng trade would also not be the most challenging thing for the Bucks to pull off if they so desired. The big man will make an expiring $4 million with the Atlanta Hawks next year, making him an affordable target for a team that is strapped for cash and assets. While it might not seem like the most pressing need at the moment, the defending champs could still bring on a center to play behind Lopez and Portis, and Dieng would fit the bill. At number 4, we have Justin Holiday could be a trade target for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are quite familiar with the Holiday family. They traded away a historic haul of assets during the 2020 offseason for Jrue Holiday, who helped them win their first title in 50 years. As they look to potentially improve their roster down the road, they could take a look at Justin Holiday, the older brother of Jrue, who currently plays for the Pacers. Holiday's coming off a solid season where he averaged 10.5 points while shooting 41.3% from the floor and 38.2% from behind the arc. The latter percentage comes from having a career-high 6.3 attempts from deep. The Bucks could always use another springy sharpshooter to bolster their bench and bolster their subpar scoring numbers. Milwaukee ranked 19th in bench points during the regular season, and Holiday would potentially bump that number up a few ticks. Standing at 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan, Holiday possesses some versatility that the Bucks team could use situationally. Financially, the Bucks would have to maneuver through some hurdles to acquire Holiday, as he is on the books for just over $6 million next season. Holiday does not seem like the most pressing option for the Bucks right now, given their surplus of wings on the roster, but if something does not work out and this team needs a boost, he could be a feasible option to target. Whether it be the sign and trade for Malcolm Brogdon several years ago, or the rumor that these two teams had discussed a Doug McDermott for Ersan Ilyasova swap previously, the Bucks and Pacers are known to engage in trade talks. Maybe that could be the case again with Holiday. At number 3, we have Danuel House Jr. could be a trade target for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks found success after trading for a forward from the Houston Rockets last season, and they could potentially look to repeat the cycle next season with Danuel House. The Rockets have traded away several of their veteran pieces over the past year in names like Tucker, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook to clear the runway for the youth. With House turning just 28 years old, it seems reasonable to believe that they could be open to moving him for the right price. Over the past 3 seasons in Houston, House has been a household name, the rotation by averaging 9.7 points on 431, 373, 759 shooting splits, 3.9 rebounds, and 1.4 assists per game. What stands out offensively is House's 3-point shot, having knocked down 37.3% of those shots on 5 attempts per contact in that span. The forward is also a solid player on the defensive end, utilizing every bit of his 6'6", 220-pound stature to hold his own against opponents. For the Bucks, House would bring in another reputable 3-and-D forward to bolster their efforts on both sides of the basketball. On the books for just a shade under $4 million next season, House is an affordable trade target for this Milwaukee team. He would be a low-risk target for the Bucks, and perhaps their previous negotiations with the Rockets' new front office could help them get a deal done down the line. The Bucks' depleted asset cabinet is something that must be considered in any potential trade, and a deal for House would likely not cost them an arm and a leg. At number 2, we have Mike Muscala can be a trade target for the Bucks. Much like Dieng, trading for Mike Muscala would be about bolsterizing their size on the roster for the Bucks. In addition to that, he fits the profile for many of the same reasons, and one could say that Muscala might even be the better target. Coming in at 6'10" and 240 pounds, Muscala is capable of playing at both the power forward and center positions. For a team like the Bucks that is looking to fortify their size, adding a versatile player with the capability would be fitting. Production-wise, the big man had a solid year with the OKC Thunder in 2020-21 by averaging 9.7 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 0.8 assists per game. He had the green light from downtown as he shot a career-high 5.3 attempts per contest, and he did make most of it by connecting on 37% of those ties. Muscala is not outstanding on the defensive end, but he brings some interesting versatility to an offense on this team. The Thunder have shown a willingness over the past year to trade away virtually any veteran piece on the roster for the right price. Having recently turned 30 years old, Muscala fits right in that range, and he can certainly be next in line to be dealt if the team inquires about him. Considering he's set to make $3.5 million the coming season, while having a club option worth the same amount during the following season, Muscala is an affordable target for a team like the Milwaukee Bucks. If they will look at improving their size at some point next season, Muscala might be a deadline candidate. And finally, at number 1, Robert Covington could be a trade target for the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee's interest in Tucker came to light during the 2020 offseason, but they were reportedly interested in also acquiring Robert Covington alongside him. The two were teammates with the Rockets, and the Bucks looked to revamp their roster. Bringing in a pair of defensive-minded forwards was something that they explored. They ultimately only got Tucker as Covington was traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. Desperately needing to improve their defense, the Blazers traded a massive haul to get Covington on their team, and he played solid. The 2017-18 All-Defensive honoree provides some great play on that side of the ball, having stuffed the stat sheet as well as totaling 1.4 steals and 1.2 blocks on average. Offensively, Covington is known for knocking down triples, and he shot a reputable 37.9% on 5.1 attempts from behind the arc on this season. Two-way play like that could certainly be interest to the Bucks, but it depends on how things transpire in Portland as the team is currently shrouded in trade speculations. The biggest fish is currently Damian Lillard, whose loyalty to the franchise is still alive, but it seems more unstable at this point more than ever before. Some have speculated that he could ask out if the team gets off to a slow start or fails to meet expectations. Second fiddle CJ McCollum has also been mentioned in countless rumors, mostly being connected to a potential Ben Simmons swap with the Philadelphia 76ers. While there have been very few rumors surrounding Covington, the Bucks should keep an eye out on this situation. The forward would be the perfect piece to implement in a small ball lineup that the Bucks use consistently throughout the playoffs. When Giannis Antetokounmpo slides down a position to play center, having a versatile defender like Covington in the front court would be a massive lift. Having lost Tucker in free agency, Covington could immediately fill that void left behind defensively. He would immediately just replace Tucker's spot and take over the same exact role that Tucker had during the NBA Finals. Any trade for him would be hard to come by as Covington is set to just make under $13 million next season, but General Manager John Horst should never be counted out. It is hard to pinpoint any trade targets for the Milwaukee Bucks since the team is yet to play together. So in the meantime, enjoy the NBA preseason starting up in the coming days. What are your thoughts on this? Are any of these trades realistic in your eyes? Let us know in the comment section down below. Also, if there's anyone on the Bucks radar that we missed, go ahead and let us know about them. Would they be looking for a new superstar maybe instead? Or would they just be looking up to fill some of the pieces that they need? Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Tip Top Sports, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss another video. Once again, thanks for watching and we'll see you all in our next video.